Did you know Final Fantasy VII was originally designed for the Nintendo 64, but Square canceled the project because it would have filled 13 Nintendo 64 cartridges. On the PS1, it was only 3 discs. Welcome to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Alex, joined by my co-host and great friend, Ralph.
Hey Alex, how you doing?
Not too bad, buddy. We're doing a lot better this weekend for this episode. Not hungover, did not have a wedding yesterday, so feeling good. Super hyped about episode 3. And as always, thank you to everyone who tuned in over the past couple episodes. We definitely noticed some audio issues in our last one. We are switching up our setup a little bit. Maybe we'll take a nice fresh Instagram picture and show you what it looks like now. As always, thank you to everyone for the feedback. Positive, negative, it helps us make it the best show that we want it to be. As always, if you notice anything, have any suggestions, tweet us, DM us on Instagram, or email us at professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com. All right, so I think we should get into it, right? Ralph, what's been keeping you busy this past week, bud?
Oh man, I've been playing a lot of Persona 5, and that's all I've been playing. It's crazy, dude.
That's the only way to do it, is to play it in huge chunks of time.
Oh, dude, I don't know where we last spoke about Persona 5, but I have reached hour 90 in the game.
Oh my god.
And it's like crazy because I know how far I am, like, relative to the story.
Okay.
But I know for a fact that there's the extra 40, and it's a big game, and I keep on forgetting how big it is. It's really good.
Yeah, so I think when I played Persona 5, like, first playthrough, I think I clocked in at, like, 105 hours. Second playthrough, I skipped through, like, a lot of things, and I was able to get through 80%.
Well, I'm definitely...
Or 80 hours, sorry.
I'm definitely at the point where... you're going to think this is hilarious. I think I don't know if you're going to think it's funny. But so in Persona 5, you get to do these confidants, like I said, in the game. It's very slice of life after the RPG stuff. Mm-hmm. But you get to start relationships or get to know some of the people better. And so roughly in the last couple of days, I started like skipping dialogue because I already know what happens.
Fake friend.
Yeah. So I want to say I was in rank 3. So there's 10 ranks per confidant, and each of your friends are 10 ranks. So I was at rank 3 with An, which is one of
best girl.
Right.
Best
one of the girls. And I skipped all of it. You monster. So I ranked her up, and I skipped every single dialogue piece because I'm like, oh yeah, she wants to be a model, blah, blah, blah. Sure.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, no, but Persona 5 has definitely been keeping me super busy. One thing I do want to note about Persona 5, for the people that have played it in the past, is that I was thinking, and I was telling you like off podcast, that I thought it was really easy. They added so many new things that made it so much easier for, I guess, like new players that want to play. Or maybe,
I think some people might call them like quality of life changes.
Right. So for like someone that like me who's played it in the past, I think it was also added to make sure that your experience is a little bit more seamless and it's much faster, right? But they did update some of the bosses, and I thought they did. I thought they only updated it for one, but they updated all of them. But one of the bosses in the game, they made so hard.
Which one? I mean, it's been out for a while. If it's in like the base game.
Yeah, so most people are probably not even going to know what it is, but the Okumura fight, the one in the spaceship.
Oh, the McDonald's CEO
right.
guy? Yeah.
So that... in the original game, that boss was really easy, in my opinion. If just to refresh your memory, the way it works in the original is that he has like worker drones that he spawns. Yeah. And so you like kill them, and eventually he runs out of worker drones. Mm-hmm. In this new boss fight, it is so hard because you need to wipe all of the drones at the same time. So you'll have one layer of the weak drones, and you need to wipe them all at the same time. Then another layer of stronger drones to wipe them at the same time. Then they get to the boss drones and wipe them at the same time. And then another set of boss drones, wipe them at the same time. That rings
a bell. I remember, yeah.
But they have to wipe them at the same time. If you don't wipe them at the same time, they leave and they come back full health.
Refresh, yeah.
And additionally, what made it harder is that I don't want to spoil this because it's kind of like story spoilers. And I know it's been out, but there's another aspect of it where usually in the old version, the drones would boost themselves.
Okay, they give themselves like buffs.
Right, they give themselves buffs. But now Okumura will give them buffs himself. So they'll attack you whenever they want. And he'll buff defense, he'll buff attack, he'll make you hungry, and there's like 5 different turns that you have to take care of. It's so much harder. I wiped 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Right. It was really hard. And is
there only one difficulty in this one?
No. I think I'm on hard.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Look at you.
Well, no. Because with the new game, with like, I think I ordered some of the DLC and stuff. There's this item that gave you 15% extra experience. So I'm super over leveled, but I still had a really tough time with that boss fight. And so literally when I was fighting it, I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Cause I already know, I'm very familiar with Persona mechanics.
Yeah.
Like you should buff yourself. Yeah. I'm like, I guess you need to buff yourself and then wipe them. But it was just really, really hard. And I think that's really refreshing. And I really hope you get the chance to play it because it's definitely going to be my game of the year this year.
Ooh, yeah, and that's something we were having a little bit of back and forth about is because I mean I was kind of iffy on it, right? Because essentially this is a definitive edition of the game.
But they came out this year.
It did, yeah, and I feel like I would be okay with that because there's a substantial amount of new content. Like if you said, "Oh, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition can be a contender." I would kind of nix that because there's not enough new content, personally at least.
Right. But yeah, no, the game is really great and it has taken over my life. I have not even had a chance to play Avengers because all I want to do is play Persona and I need to finish it before anything. So I finally got to new content. So that's really exciting.
Oh, you did get the new content. Okay.
Well, there's new content sprinkled in with like the confidants and
it's like mixed in.
But more of the story stuff is starting to come out of why the new content is happening. I think I have a theory of what happens, but hopefully that's not the case. We'll see.
Cool. So you might have like 60 more hours in the game.
No, I probably have. If I'm thinking of where I'm at right now, I probably have like another 80.
Oh my!
Which is
Lord!
Because the way it works, and like I said, I don't want to spoil it. So I'm finished with a couple of the palaces already.
Yeah.
So I'm at the beginning of the game. It starts out with you getting caught essentially, and I'm there. So I'm in that palace, the casino palace. But after that,
I love that one.
Right,
the soundtrack is
it's
really
super cool.
Yeah.
With that, in the game. There's that palace, and then there's another one after that. If you do the true ending in Persona, there's bad endings and good endings. But after there's that one, and then the other one, right? The other palace. Mm-hmm. So that's probably another 40 hours, if we're being honest.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's the extra content, which is another 40. And I'm probably going to take more time with that and not skip any dialogue anyway. So that's probably so another 80, which is crazy to me. It's a crazy thought to have since I already have 90 hours in.
But it's like we've said, like if you haven't played it, like even if you don't think you don't have time for it, which I mean, I think most people are like, who has time for like a 150-hour story? You'll end up making time. You will probably end up skipping out on like dinner or something a couple nights just to get more play time.
It's definitely a good bang for your buck. I really, like I said before, Persona is definitely an adult Pokemon kind of game. And so I just hope this comes out on Switch because it is the perfect type of game to have like on the go because
it's so long.
Right. It's super long. And then there's so much to do. And the reason I love this game, and I don't want this to be a Persona 5 podcast episode.
Not yet.
The reason this game is so good is yes, the game is super long, but I've never felt that anything I was doing in the game was a waste of time. If that sounds that sounds weird.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. And even though, so generally the Persona formula is you play as like a high school student and you play through like a whole like year of school and you like form bonds with like other people in your social circle, I guess. They're called confidants typically. And although you are playing as this high school student, so many of the core themes and sub themes that appear throughout the series are very much like adult, mature oriented.
Yep.
Right? There's like talking about like a gym teacher who's
spoilers, Alex. I want them
it's like
to
the first
the game.
palace, right? It's like taking advantage of like another student, so you need to like. I mean, then with the palace that Ralph was talking about with the McDonald's CEO, talking about like worker abuse,
right?
How employees are just like a number to him. So it's really like, wow, this hits pretty deep.
Definitely
and
a
you
lot of
wouldn't
adult
expect
themes. And I do want to be careful with spoilers. And I know the game's been out a lot, and I'm sure we'll bring it up later. But if you do get a PlayStation 5, and you will get Persona 5 for free. So
true. And that's something we'll definitely talk about later. But yeah, that's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind.
All right, I'm done with Persona 5. Best game ever in the world. But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Cool. So the Super Mario 3D All-Stars pack did come out this past week. I know you mentioned like Sam was like super excited for it. Did you? And pre-orders were like kind of crazy for that. Mm-hmm. Did you guys like a chance to play it or purchase it all?
No. So Sam did tell me to pre-order the game. Okay. She wants to check it out. The thing with Sam specifically, and I hate platformers because I'm not going to play it. I did love Galaxy, but I'm not. Sam tells me I'm not a real Mario player because so
how pretentious.
No,
I'm totally joking.
She says I'm not a real Mario player because when I played Odyssey, I just did, I guess, the bare minimum. So,
okay, you got enough.
So I got enough stars to move to the next thing.
State, to get to New Donk City.
So the way she works is, no, she needs to get all the stars, as many stars as she can immediately, which I did not know was a thing. It was really funny because with Mario Odyssey, I think you only need like 10 stars or 10 moons or whatever. 10 moons on the first world. And when I got her to play one time, she had 30 moons.
Oh, nice.
Like from the first world, which is crazy to me. And she's like, you just don't know where to look, Ralph. You don't know how to play this game correctly.
That's great.
So with Mario All-Stars, Sam tends to lean on the 2D Mario games. She loves the 2D Mario games.
I'm definitely in the same boat as the side-scroller ones, yeah.
So she's interested in playing them, but we're not really rushing to get the games. The things that we are playing together from time to time is Fall Guys.
Nice.
We actually checked out Fall Guys. I know you kind of left a little bit of the game.
A little bit, yeah. I saw they had an update.
Right. So season 2 is coming out in I think like 20 days or 15 days. So that's going to be exciting. We'll definitely jump in for that. But they did update the game, and it's crazy because they changed the courses, like massive changes in the courses. It's weird because sometimes you'll have a new course, like the normal course that they have with launch, but sometimes they will have the updated change course.
Oh.
And
okay.
Yeah, so you don't know which course you're gonna get. But one thing I did want to shout out in Fall Guys is there's this course called Slime Climb, which typically kills everyone. No. And everyone's gotten very good at Slime Climb. Usually when when it first came out,
when it launched,
right? When it launched, that course usually killed everyone, and roughly only 5 people.
It was like that stage, even though it was like a regular stage, people treat it as like a finale,
right? Because usually 5 people would leave. And then as the game got older, or not older, but as more people played the game, like you'd get 17 people qualify and things like that. So they updated Slime Climb. You're gonna think this is super funny. There's a section in Slime Climb where you're climbing up a ramp and then balls like fall at you. And it's really easy to avoid the balls, to be honest. But now instead of the balls, they have the cinnamon sticks.
They have the
So they have the cinnamon sticks, and literally like,
dude, Mediatonic is evil.
yeah. So these cinnamon sticks essentially take up the entire lane, and it would just clear people. Because one, you're panicking on Slime Climb because it's an elimination round, and so as slime is coming to you, you're panicking, and the cinnamon sticks just take you from underneath your legs. And
That's amazing.
It'll push you off to the slime, and you're dead. So
you're dead.
There's a lot of cool changes. They added Big Yeetus, which is this.
Dude, I've been seeing, because I subscribe to the subreddit, and there's so many memes about Big Yeetus.
Yeah, so there's this giant hammer that just launches you forward. You need to aim, you have to time it correctly, but it's super cool. You should definitely check it out. I don't know if you're still gonna go for the season pass, like finish the season pass.
Oh yeah, to get to level 40.
But yeah, the season pass is probably ending soon, so at least try and get the caveman outfit. I haven't gotten it yet because
what level are you now?
I think I'm at like
further than me.
30, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's where I left off, like 30.
Maybe one thing that I did want to know is maybe I'm just rusty or everyone's really good. Now, there have been multiple times where I got checked out on the first round.
Honestly, like, that's cool. Because it was normal, like, I think, like, when it launched, we could, like, regularly get to the final round, you know, saving for any nonsense from team games. Have they trimmed down on those?
I don't know.
Do you feel like you play them less?
The reason I don't know is because I think we played one night, and I think I only made it past round 1, which is really embarrassing, maybe twice. Like, I'm being super serious.
Okay, yeah, no, I totally believe that, like, the bar of competition has been
I think the margin of error has gotten very small in that game because everyone knows what they're doing.
They have it down to a science almost.
Yeah, it's definitely much harder. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I'm playing. What are you playing?
Honestly, kind of a light week of video gaming for me. I wanted to make a huge Gen Paper Mario. So this is what happens to me. This is why the Switch is dangerous for me. Whenever I boot it up, I see Super Smash Bros. And I'm like, I should just play Paper Mario because, like, I need to get through that. But I'm like, but I can just play a couple rounds of Smash. Like, why not? And so that basically happened to me every time I booted up Paper Mario. I would like need to get out of my system. I know like you're not like crazy for Smash, but like you'll always play.
Are you playing with like other human beings, like friends, or are you playing online?
I did a couple of scrims with like our friend who participates in like the bi-weekly tournaments with us. But I would just do like a lot of Elite Smash. I was able to get Lucina, my main.
It's Elite Smash?
In Elite Smash. I've got a few characters in there actually. Not Ganondorf, surprisingly. I think I'm like one win away.
Right.
But he's got some, like, blind picking Ganondorf into some matchups is just the worst.
Right.
Like, I went against this young Link, and I think he got me to, like, 80% before I touched him.
I think with Ganondorf, too, I think there's just a lot more counters, especially
if
when
you
you're
can
playing with people that are trying to get to Elite Smash. Just as a reminder, not a reminder, just as an explanation to people, Elite Smash is essentially this, like, top tier... Like, it makes you sound so pretentious.
Yeah, this is a top tier. Good.
Right. But in the game, there's competitive and it's rankings. So when you get to Elite Smash, I believe it's at the top 10 or top 5% of the entire population.
They actually, I'm not sure what that percentage is. They've adjusted it recently, I think in the latest patch, where you need less GSP. That's like the ranking. If you win a match, you get like X number of GSP. I think like the rule of thumb is like if you're like 7.5 million, you'll be in Elite Smash range.
Well, that's really cool. So Alex is very good at Smash.
Not really. I mean, I don't know.
My GSP is like at 20,000. So
okay. 20,000?
Well, no, because here's the thing. So
2 million probably.
This is gonna be such a ranty episode. Here's the thing with Super Smash Brothers with Elite Smash. Like, I don't know, maybe if they changed it, but when you start out, you're at the average GSP. Yeah,
they take like the average of all your characters.
So when you play, you get like, I want to say like 20,000 like every single time. But like when you lose at a game, they take off so many points. Yeah. So let's say you gain 20,000 GSP when you win a match, right? But then when you lose, they'll take off 400,000. They're like, we don't care. Yeah,
it's rough. And I mean, the GSP system, we can have that rant another day, but it's in terms of like ranking for, like ranked online battles, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Like if I have 7.5 million GSP, like what does that mean relative to everyone else I'm playing against? And then, I mean, obviously that's a rhetorical question because no one has an answer for that. You know, why not just have like a ladder where someone's at 1 and then it descends down?
Right.
That
I'm
seems
surprised
more
they didn't do
logical.
like Elo, right? Because a lot of
yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, like League.
We're just pushing all of these terminology that people typically don't know. Elo is essentially how people get ranked in a lot of different video games. I think they took it from chess.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I'm surprised that they picked GSP when a lot of different competitive games. Granted, Nintendo really doesn't care about competitive. They use Elo, and I think that's a more reliable system to figure out skill level. So.
Or like a lot of games like Destiny and like League of Legends now, they do like tier systems like bronze, silver, gold, plat, etc.
Well, even with that's based on Elo, isn't it?
Right, it is.
Right,
it's a more like, I'll call it a tangible system opposed to like this ethereal number. Yeah. So yeah, Elite Smash is fun. Ganondorf blind picks a lot less fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that young Link, like he just bodied me that first second. I'm like, all right, well,
you can't
I'm
touch him,
literally
right?
not having fun, so I'm just gonna
can't touch him.
down off the
So
edge.
far away.
Yeah, but like there are other matchups where like totally fine. But yeah, if you
So
know
who
how
are
to
you
play,
maining? Is it Lucina?
yeah.
now,
So
or-
I loved Marth. Like Brawl is probably the one we played the most. Like in college, we were freaking degenerates with that game. Just
I was so bad at
I remember there were some days where like we took classes off just to play Smash Bros.
Don't talk about me. I never took
Okay,
classes
well
off to
I
play
definitely
Smash.
I definitely had taken a few off.
I hope your parents aren't watching or listening.
They told me they listened to the first one where I mentioned I was drinking wine, and I'm like, well, sorry about that.
Oh, that's so funny. Maybe they'll listen to this one like, Alex, what do you mean you took
Yeah,
classes off to
exactly.
play Smash?
That was like, oh man, that was like 6 years ago now.
I think I do remember. This is so ranty already. It's great. I think I do remember coming back from class and I'm like, did you guys not go to class today?
Like, Ralph, don't worry about that. Grab a controller.
You were just in your room with Jake. You roomed with Jake, right?
Freshman year,
Yeah. And then you, Nathan, Anthony would just hang out, play Smash.
Good times. Good times. Grades weren't the best freshman year. Went up after that, but yeah. Yeah, it was honestly great memories though. With
Did you
video
declare
games.
a major? Oh my god, this is so ranty. Did you declare a major
freshman year? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So played a lot of Marth and Brawl.
Yeah.
Didn't play as much Smash 4 on the Wii U.
Well, you didn't have a Wii U, so
Right. So that's
because who did? Ralph.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so then I feel like, so with the difference between Marth and Lucina is same moveset, same frame data, like how fast their moves come out. Marth has this mechanic where if you hit him with the tip, like the very edge of the sword, it'll do more damage and have more knockback.
I just want to stop you. I think this is like super funny because I understand what you're saying, but most people are like, hit him with the tip.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Smash Bros is a pretty universal game, one way or another, to some extent. So he has that mechanic, and if you don't hit him with the tip or edge of the sword, he's kind of useless. It's like hitting him with a wet noodle otherwise. Whereas Lucina's like, you hit him anywhere on the sword, and it's the same. And so it's just way more consistent. Marth still has a place in my heart, but I think I just play better with Lucina. So yeah, she's probably my main.
Have you picked up anyone else or?
I mean, there's still like Ganondorf. He's fun. As you can see, I like the more mindless characters.
Well, I think
I just
like
want to go in there and hit
because
people.
You love making people angry.
Dude, if you get someone with that meteor smash, that aerial down air, like that's like the best feeling in the world.
Also, his up smash takes off like a third of the entire stage.
Yeah, yeah. The Doria, the big sword. Yeah. The changes with him giving him a sword are great. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Smash Bros. There are bi-weekly tournaments. We're located in the Chicago area.
Shout them out. Where is it?
Game on Chicago on Twitch.
What's your tag on Game on Chicago, Alex?
Mine is ASAM because it's super unoriginal. It's literally just like my first name and last name in one word.
Yeah, if Alex is ever competing on Game on Chicago, we'll put it on Instagram and let you know to watch him.
Yeah, you can watch me get my booty smacked.
No, dude, he's gonna get first place. You know, he's gonna work hard, be really good.
I've never gotten first. Yesterday there was a tournament, so they're every like every other Saturday evening time, typically around 7:30. I lost in the first match. I got 0-2'd. Both pretty close, down to one stock. But yeah, it was honestly like it's always fun regardless. So yeah, always happy to compete in those.
Well, also, that's how you get good at fighting games, right? You can't just, play by yourself or play single player. You need to play with real people because that's when you learn habits and you become a better player. Granted, I'm terrible at Smash Bros. Because it's essentially a platformer. So
yeah,
I avoid
it's a unique
that.
fighting game, for sure. It's what makes it fun, though.
So you didn't play All-Stars at all? Oh, not All-Stars. Super Paper Mario?
I did play a little bit of Paper Mario. I'm like about to go into the second dungeon. So in Paper Mario games, like you get companions along the way. Kind of, like an RPG, you get party members. Right. And it was super funny. Like this game always, whenever I boot it up and play, I always get like a good chuckle out of like the scenarios, the dialogue that's going on. So there's this bomb, right? Classic Mario enemy.
Right.
And he joins the party, and so you go on like this train to the next area, and he's on there too, and he has like amnesia, so he's trying to go to new places, kind of rediscover his lost memories and like make new ones. So one of Mario's companions, who's this like origami folded character, he's like, oh, like you should come with us because we're definitely gonna be traveling around, you can make new memories. And he's trying to like play it cool. This character's bomb, he's like, oh no, it's fine, like whatever, I'm doing me, I'm too busy. And then he's like kind of baiting her out to like ask him again to like play it cool. And then she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then he's like, wait, no, that didn't play how I want. So he's like moving closer to them, and then he's like, second thought, I could totally join you guys. So it's super funny.
Props to the writers then.
Yeah, seriously, like they're not taking it too seriously. They're knowing to have fun with it, and I think all the players are like typically having fun with it too. So that's cool. And you don't really notice this, but in other Mario games at least, but there's a lot, since there is like a lot of dialogue in Paper Mario. Mario is a silent protagonist. So like this origami folded character that I kind of briefly mentioned is Mario's voice a lot of times. And it's weird because, Mario does make noise like, Yahoo! Yippee!
Hire Alex as a voice actor, please.
Exactly, that stuff. But in terms of like actual dialogue or like conversations, he doesn't. Like like Luigi does, Peach talks, but Mario doesn't, which is kind of weird. And but like it's like, okay, yeah, I guess now that I think about it.
Does Luigi talk?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
At least in this game, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, yeah, because he's an NPC for other games, so that does make sense.
Typically. And I don't know, was Luigi a silent protagonist in like Luigi's Mansion? I only played the first one. I don't really remember
Luigi's Mansion, so
they're fun games. I know people typically like the third one, which released on the Switch last year, maybe. Yeah. So Paper Mario, it's solid. I'm definitely gonna finish it. I'm kind of trudging through it, but like it has my attention. So
what's your score so far? Do you like it? If you were to give it a score right now, what would you give it? Because I know it's not the best received one, right? That's what you're saying.
It's not the best received. I think like the general consensus is like, okay, yeah, like this was a fine game. I don't know if I'd like say you should drop $60 on it. My sister loaned it to me, so that was fine.
It's a freebie.
It was a freebie. Although I guess, with Nintendo games, if you buy them, the resale value is there.
Well, it depends on the game.
Yeah, first party Nintendo games,
right.
At least.
Well, yeah, it's not even first party. It just depends on the game. Usually Nintendo has very good games, but it's the ones where people want to play over and over again. So if this is a game that people want to play over and over again, sure, then it'll have high resale value. But I don't know, because like I don't know if Splatoon 1 has a high resale value, but like I know for a fact that Pokemon Soul Silver is more expensive now than it was when it was launched. So.
Yeah, Pokemon games are weird in that regard. Right. Yeah, the price appreciates, I feel like, as time goes on. So yeah, that's kind of all I've got for me playing. But it's this week, aside from our video game playing, just the industry news was crazy. It's a great time of the year. I guess great time in general for video game news. I feel like this year's kind of been slow. Just because a lot of the developers and, the bigger studios are prepping games for next gen. So now that we're approaching that time, there's like a huge boon, a huge like stockpile of news. So we had the PS5 showcase event, which was announced, I think, last Saturday.
Right.
So PR news coming up the following Wednesday. I think it was like the 16th, maybe. That's when
it's funny because Sony's like, all right, Xbox announced their price. Now we can announce everything else.
Yeah. So yeah, and there was a lot that went on, equally great and frustrating with the chain of events for the showcase. The actual showcase, great, fantastic. It was very punctual. Like they said, okay, we're Central Time, so like it will launch and will begin at 3 p.m. Central, and they did. They had a bunch of YouTube videos up, YouTube streams, and I think there was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, like different languages.
Stuff, yeah. I had it ready to go at like 10 a.m. And then when 3 p.m. came around, like they were good. They started, and buddy. This PS5 showcase. We'll start there. We'll kind of work chronologically with how this happened.
Sweet. Tell me about it.
All right. So first of all, if you didn't have a chance to check out our Instagram, we did have a post. It was a spec comparison between the Series X and the...
We haven't actually posted that yet. I'll post that today. I totally forgot.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we will. Okay. As soon as... Yeah. At the time of you listening to this, it'll have been posted.
It'll definitely be up.
My bad. That's funny.
I'm slacking. I'm sorry, Alex.
No, you're good. You're good. So you can have that as a reference. It's kind of like a cheat sheet between the two systems. But a price finally announced, which, there's a lot of speculation. I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, really. $500 for the standard edition, which plays discs and digital games. And then there's the $400 just for the digital edition, cannot play discs again. Right, available November 12th in I think like 5 or 6 countries, 11.19 for everything else. Okay, so obviously big difference between this and the Series X is they're the same console, and that's been confirmed by Sony.
Right.
The digital and the standard edition are the same on the inside.
It's just the disc reader.
It's just the disc reader, correct.
So one thing I did want to note is that just as a PSA for everyone else, because I think a lot of people are considering the discless one. There's certain games that are going to be free upgrades from PS4 to PS5.
Yeah.
So if you are buying, let's say, Miles Morales or what other or Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
If you buy the disc, you can only upgrade that game if you have the disc reader version of PS5. If you buy it digital, you can run it with either console. But just as a PSA, if you do buy a physical copy of the game, you will need to have the disc version of the PS5 in order to upgrade those games.
Cool. And that's a great thing to note. And I guess if you think about it, that's pretty logical too. I know like Horizon is... I don't know if there's a release date on that. No. Maybe like 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that Horizon Forbidden West is a PS4 and a PS5 game.
Me too.
Which kind of makes me think, I don't know, PlayStation thinks that the PS4 has 4 more years of it, which is totally fine. There's definitely a lot of life left in that console, but I am very surprised that is a PS4, PS5 game. It kind of makes me think that Horizon's coming out next year early. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but the fact that it's a cross-gen game doesn't make me think that it's coming in 2 or 3 years, because that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then obviously there's a lot of games that are at launch, like Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion. There's our cross-gen, right, PS4 and PS5. But there are some launch titles that are they're exclusive to the PS5, which like Demon Souls, right. I think Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank you wouldn't be able to run on the PS4 anyway,
right. So. Yeah, those beautiful lack of load screens.
Right.
Pretty awesome. So moving back into the PS5 showcase event, they came out of the gates swinging, right? I just had
How excited were you?
I just had the dumbest smile on my face as soon as I realized what happened. So they announced Final Fantasy 16, which they're like little inklings of I don't know what I'm thinking of, teasers like,
Right.
okay, they might announce Final Fantasy 16. But I'm like, okay, this is clickbait. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. And it opened and I'm like, wait, this kind of looks like Final Fantasy. It kind of looks like the models for Final Fantasy 14. Is this just another expansion for that?
Yeah,
Final
it's like
Fantasy
cool anime boys. With,
yeah, exactly.
With face tattoos.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait, there's a lot of narrative for this. There's a lot of like exposition. So I don't think it is Final Fantasy 14. What is it? And then they drop the title, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, the mic drop it's exclusive, right?
So I did look into that more. It's a timed exclusive.
Okay, that's misleading.
So
that's a little misleading, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be on, I think they said PC most likely after that. Not sure about Xbox.
Well, no,
Series
that's what I
X,
meant.
though. Yeah.
So did you look into? I know that it's available on PC. That's for sure.
I think like 6 months
it's console
after.
exclusive?
Yeah, that's I don't know if there is information about that.
Right. Because if it's console exclusive, that's a huge deal.
That is huge. I agree. So, and I looked in this a little more. It is run by like some of the same team as Final Fantasy 14. And so not everyone at Square Enix who like works on one Final Fantasy will work on the rest, right? They have a couple different teams for that. And why that kind of makes sense is Final Fantasy 14 is an MMORPG, so think World of Warcraft, right? So you don't need that team full hands-on deck.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, right? So
okay.
I mean, when they release expansions...
I don't want to say core team. Like, I don't want to say that, it's not being made by the core team. That it is very interesting that it's being handled by the 14 team.
Yes, like some of the bigger members that are in play for 16.
So, I don't know if you know this, the team that worked on 14 working on this one, so is the... I don't want to say core team because it makes it sound bad, but is the core team working on Final Fantasy VII Remake too?
I'm sure they might be pulling some members. That's like some of the more like the executives on the 14 team.
I wonder what they're prioritizing now as a company. Like which game is more important, the remake or the core game?
I think they're mostly just different teams.
Right.
Yeah. And you can tell with the graphic style too. Like pretty night and day. We were kind of talking about too, like this doesn't really look as nice as 7 Remake. Right. Different styles. Again, I think Final Fantasy 16 will look obviously a lot better when it actually releases versus how it looked in the trailer. But yeah, so 14 is an MMO, so you don't need the entire team full hands on deck, like fully prioritizing that like every workday. You can kind of take some off, except for bigger patches maybe or expansions. But yeah, then they hired some outside members too. I think like the combat designer worked with Dragon's Dogma and like Devil May Cry 5.
Okay.
And then you think back to the trailer and you see the combat, and you're like, okay, this is like super, fast paced action, very reliant on like dodging, parrying. It's totally 180 to the turn-based
Interesting.
style.
Well, obviously, I think you're going to like it in general because you love action games and stuff like that. Do you think this kind of like isolates some Final Fantasy fans?
Okay, so I did see some comments, and it's been like that since like 13,
right?
Even right, where they've been kind of straying further and further away from just the traditional turn-based combat. Yeah, and 15 came around, and a lot of people liked it. There were some that didn't. 7 came around, and in 7 they tried to make like this turn-based. It was like the wait mode.
Right.
It was not the same, but it was like a shout out, like, hey, like this, our roots were in turn based, so this is kind of like that's like a compromise.
But it's definitely still an RPG because you can't just button mash that game.
100% still an RPG.
Think. But yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a different direction for them. Granted, I guess like based on their last couple of games, that is the direction they're thinking of the game.
Yeah, and honestly, I love that direction. It's more involved, more. Like on the player's end, I think it's just more engaging overall. And if you still want the turn-based style, Dragon Quest, right? Like Dragon Quest 11, they're still pretty faithful to that. And I didn't finish 11 just because it's hard to go back to that kind of style. Persona is still turn-based. I think
but it's different.
It's different. I like it.
Yeah, there's a rhythm to it. It's not. The mechanics for Persona, if people don't know, if you find a weakness, you get to attack again. So if you can literally just tackle weakness on your enemy every single time your attack is they're weak to the attack, you can essentially clear them in one turn.
Yeah. Or the enemy can clear you in one turn. Right. Like it's super do
scary
or die.
And good.
Yeah. So something like Persona, the emphasis is exploiting weakness. So they're moving away from the traditional style. I like it. I think with a franchise like Final Fantasy, you're not going to please everyone.
Right.
Like there are some serious diehard fans. I remember 13. They announced it'd be on not only the PS3 but also the Xbox 360. Like people were up in flames.
Right.
Like, oh my god, this is gonna make the game so much worse. They're gonna have to compromise graphics, and it's like, okay, calm down. Ultimately, it's a good thing. Like we can get more fans out of this. Right. More people can just love the games we do. And after a launch, that died down, and it's kind of a norm. But that just goes to show you how diehard, ride or die these fans are, for better, for worse, right? So I'm super excited for that. As soon as they announced that, which again was like the first thing, I was like, okay, you win. Take my money. Right? Just throwing my wallet at the monitor. Spider-Man Miles Morales, not
great gameplay.
Yeah, not really like announced, but just gameplay. It is, as Ralph mentioned, it's going to launch on the PS4 as well, and it's going to launch at $50. There's also going to be an Ultimate Edition, which is coming out at $70.
Do you know the difference?
It comes with the original Spider-Man game.
Oh, well, comes with the original comes with the original Spider-Man game for PS5. So with PS5 optimizations.
I believe so, yes. I think in an article they said it's not just here's this game also. Like improve load times, more assets on the screen. Right. Yeah.
Do we know if you have the original Spider-Man game, if that is good to go for PS5, or
if they also get the optimizations?
Right.
I don't.
Right. So like let's say I have the disc, right? Because I own it.
Right.
Just plop it into the PS5. We don't know if it's going to be PS5.
If there's going to be like a day one patch for that, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope.
Interesting.
That'd be cool. But it's cool that they're offering this. It's cool. It's $50 too. So I read that the play time for it is around like 10 to 15 hours.
Oh, that's short.
So it's definitely shorter. But I think those games have good replayability. Yeah, there's like post-game missions and stuff. You can unlock more costumes, powers.
Yeah, I don't know. When did you play Spider-Man?
Didn't beat it, but I played through a lot of it, yeah.
Right. So, I don't know, like, there was a New Game Plus, and I think you can definitely, like, check out new costumes. I platinumed it, and maybe that's why I haven't gotten back to the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has the best replay value. I think the story is really good, and it's really fun to just hang out in the game, but 10's a little short, if I'm being honest.
It totally is. It looked like if you didn't watch the gameplay, like, and you don't want to watch the whole conference, definitely just watch that. It looks super fluid, really like fun gameplay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it looks like, because the other thing too, with the way that video game developers talk about length of game, they typically add on a couple of hours just to make it sound. So like if someone says 10, then I'm really thinking, oh, there's 8. Right.
Yeah.
So
depending on, there's probably gonna be a lot to explore.
Right. Because I'm sure they're adding like collectibles, and not everyone's gonna do collectibles.
They always do.
Right.
They always do. I hate when they sprinkle, and I was like, oh, it's a page of a comic book.
Right. So yeah. I'm curious to see. I'm very excited to do it. That's why it's probably $50. That's a weird price to me.
Yeah, for like a launch PS5 game. I agree. Not necessarily complaining about it, but it's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Cool. And then after that, I think some people thought this was the highlight of the show, Hogwarts Legacy, which there was a lot of questions like, is this like, oh man, like PS5 won because of this. Like, I'm definitely going to buy this for this Harry Potter game. It is cross-gen, right? So PS4 and PS5. Also on Xbox. So Xbox One, the current one, and then the Series. And then it'll also be on PC. So literally everything but Switch.
Right. And then the other thing, too, I think a lot of people were very confused. Because
like what this game actually is.
You're like, oh yeah, Hogwarts is exclusive to PlayStation, and it didn't say exclusive, but that's why Sony pays the marketing bucks.
Yeah, they got the big
partnership
bucks.
deals with other companies, right? Because if it's in your conference, then, you know, a portion of the population is going to think, oh, I guess this is only for PlayStation.
Right.
Right. So the good play
Which
on
is
them.
fair.
Huge game. I know this was leaked, I want to say 2 years ago. I don't know if you were familiar with that.
Yeah.
This
There's
was
some
leaked.
rumors.
There was a play test. No, there was a play test.
Oh, there's an actual
videos
okay.
and photos. And people were like, oh man, there's this Hogwarts game. I don't know when they're going to announce that. So I'm glad that it's finally announced. I'm very excited. It looks very far along because based on the trailer, it wasn't cinematic. It was more along the lines of gameplay footage. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there was a release date, but I'm really hoping it comes out next year.
Yeah, I don't know if there was either. I think like 2021 is totally a safe bet for that. It takes place in the 1800s, which is obviously well before the actual movies or books, or at least like, you know, the main seven books. Mm-hmm. Clearly, I was not a Harry Potter kid growing up. Family was pretty against that, which is kind of funny to me in retrospect. So Harry Potter is one of those things where I'm like, you know, I totally get why people love it, and
you didn't get your invitation to Hogwarts.
Yeah, like if you didn't grow up with Harry Potter, I think you kind of missed your train into Hogwarts, right? Like I think like if I read them now, I'd be like, okay, this is cool, but I wouldn't like, you know, lose my mind over this.
Have you watched all of the Harry Potter movies?
I think I've watched half of them.
Okay.
I haven't watched like the first four. Like I've watched like 1, 2, 3 because they're always on ABC Family.
Totally separate thought, not video game related. We're gonna do like a Harry Potter multiple weekend. So we'll do
man, if there's pizza, I'm there.
Dude, let's do it. We'll do a watch party. So anyone who wants to come, let us know.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, Harry Potter watch party. Because actually, Sam and I it was on sale on PSN.
Is it on Disney? No, it's not.
No,
Disney.
it's not.
No,
it's Warner Brothers.
Clearly not
But it was on sale on PSN like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, screw it, we'll buy the entire series. So Sam and I ended up buying all the Harry Potter movies for I want to say like $30, and it was great. So
that's pretty good.
And it was it's 4K. So so
let's go.
Come. I don't know how well it's because I bought separate like as a very tangent filled episode. I bought Avatar: Last Airbender on Blu-ray.
Nice.
And it was supposed to be 1080p. It was not 1080p. The first couple of episodes were definitely...
They tried their best.
They tried. They did the good old college try, but it was not widescreen. It was 1080p. I'm like, this is not...
the black bars. Oh, man,
so
I hate to see that.
But yeah, no, definitely, we should definitely watch it. Maybe we'll do...
Then they may all want to play the game.
Yeah.
Because at this moment, I would not buy it just because I like the concept. Like I think like people are gonna, you know, people have been losing their mind over this and they're gonna really love it. But you know, at this moment, not really for me. I did read that J.K. Rowling, obviously the author of the series, she's not. These are the quotes, directly involved with the game. Which I don't know, like that phrasing, or that doesn't mean like a whole lot to me. That means to me like maybe she has some inputs, like they might need to run by a couple things that might be like changing the canon or like, you know, big plot points if she can okay them or ask them to modify it. But other than that, you know, creative direction is on the team, which is good.
No, it's just fine. She probably just gets, this prints money, good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't blame her though.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on that, or is that like a day one purchase for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love me some Harry Potter. Granted, a lot of fans are a little bit conflicted right now. I don't want to talk about it during the podcast, but with stuff that came out with J.K. Rowling, people are a little bit conflicted. I'm like, but I love this franchise, but she's a terrible person. So,
okay. So Mason, she's not directly involved. People would be more inclined to.
For sure, yeah. So, I am definitely going to purchase it. I know there is that conflict, but I love me some Harry Potter. So
love me some Harry Potter. Cool. I think they will not have any issues selling that game. 100%. So yeah, and it kind of seems like a maybe not an open world, but for you to explore like the school, the surrounding areas, like create your own character, your own student. It seemed like so pretty cool. I wonder how like
as a service.
Yeah, I wonder how multiplayer is gonna look for that.
Is there multiplayer?
I don't know.
Maybe,
but like if you could create like a party. To do like some quests, like explore the school with like your friends. Like I don't know, that'd be
MMO
cool.
Harry Potter would definitely work because even how the books or how the movies are set up, they're usually 3 people like Harry, Ron, Hermione.
Yeah, maybe like PvP Quidditch matches. Honestly, I think that'd be a huge selling point.
We'll see.
That'd be fun.
I love me some Harry Potter. So.
Cool. Next one, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Isn't that a mouthful? Got some gameplay. Nothing really like too groundbreaking, but
looks great.
COD sells. It does look cool. I haven't played a COD since, I think like Modern Warfare 2.
I've never played a COD, so.
Yeah, I'm trash. Absolutely trash at first-person shooters. Like COD was super fun. Like if you have friends, if you have a party of people who play COD with you, like it's a great time. Like regardless of skill level, like you will have fun 100%. So it looks cool. I think like a beta was playable on the PS4 like as soon as that conference was over, or like at least this past weekend it was playable. So that's cool. I haven't checked it out, but I know like generally it's favorable comments for it. Next up, Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village.
With
not
the 8.
Yeah,
the 8 numbers.
Yeah, VII.
I don't know what they're gonna do with future games, because if that's their plan, like, all right, what are we gonna name it so that we can do IX?
Yeah. It looks cool though. So one of my buddies who I was hanging out with this past week, and he's like big into like thrillers, like Silent Hill games, Resident Evil, and he's really looking forward to this. And so I was kind of doing some back and forth on it because I'm like a super casual Resident Evil fan. Like I played 4, which was, is very well received.
An action game too.
Yeah. It's and he's like, okay, yeah, like it. And I'm like, this feels like it has Resident Evil 4 vibes, because 4 dominantly takes place in like this village, bunch of zombies. Like it's creepy, right? In that aspect. And Resident Evil 7, which released on the PS4 a couple years ago, like it just takes place in like this house. I remember we played like the beta. The VR one at your place.
You hated it.
I couldn't do it. Not in VR.
I hate spoopy games, man.
Spoopy
games they're not for me. I did Last of Us because I respect that game and I really wanted to play it. But every time something jumped up, I was like, I don't want to.
I would say this. Like in Last of Us, and you know better than me, horror is like a secondary aspect. It's not like Resident Evil. Like it's a big theme,
right? Well, no, yeah, horror game and like more like do we have drama games? I guess drama games,
like,
drama horror.
The Telltale games, maybe drama,
yeah. But no, I'm not into spoopy games. Looks great. Probably not gonna play it. So
yeah, no, it does look cool. Looks like they've been remaking them. Like Resident Evil 2, huge. People loved it. 3 recently came out. So yeah, it seems like they're going back on the right track. I like 8. I don't think I would buy it. I would like to like watch some gameplay of it though. Like if one of my friends got it, I would be down.
You'd rather watch someone get scared than be scared yourself.
Yeah, but then I would also probably get scared. Let's be honest. Deathloop
looks right.
Yeah, it does look super cool. Just some gameplay.
I don't know how this game is going to be though. Like, is it an instance based? Do you play the same game over and over again? Do you think that's the case?
I don't know. Yeah, I saw it look pretty cool. Like that wasn't like a highlight of me or anything. Like I don't think I would really dive into it. But I'm like, okay, I could see people having fun with it. Yeah. Sure.
It's a clever concept. If people don't know what Deathloop is, essentially you are an assassin and you need to assassinate, I think, like 8 people, and you have a set amount of time, but someone is also trying to assassinate you at the same time. And whenever you get killed, it resets. So you have to do it all over again. So I'm curious to see if it's like a full campaign, or if it's a set you play for 3 hours and then you try to assassinate everyone at the same time. It's an interesting concept. One thing that is fascinating about it is that the person that's also trying to assassinate you is a real player.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this game's going to be played.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those things that'll live and die by its online.
Right. So curious to see what happens.
Yeah, it looks cool. Definitely a cool concept. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. My Very boy excited. Virgil. Oh man. So I didn't play 5. And the idea of there being a special edition is not a surprise. I think like since 3, they've had special editions for them. So 5 looked really cool. Virgil is just like, he's cool. Right. And he's in like the Marvel vs. Capcom games. In the 3 special edition, you could play as Virgil too, which I love Devil May Cry 3. That is a great game back on the PS2. This looks cool. It's launching at $40. I think it actually might be a launch game.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
But it's only digital, I believe.
Okay, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
It looks cool. People really love that game. The graphics look great. The gameplay looks super fun too. So I might actually pick it up. I didn't play through all of 4, but this one looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up 5 when I was on sale. It wasn't for me.
Oh, really?
Honest. Yeah. I have very specific taste when it comes to the hack and slash type of game.
Okay.
And I don't know why this one didn't click for me. There's definitely something. I think it was more along the lines of you need to upgrade a lot of your moves.
Yeah,
you don't get a lot of moves immediately. So it didn't feel good to me immediately to play the game, and I dropped it so fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I only played it for, I want to say, until the first boss, which like an hour or 2.
Right.
And it just didn't hook me. And I love hack and slash games, but I need that square combo immediately. And I don't think you have one. So
okay. So there's 3 playable characters in that game, right? So do you start, or do they have like 3 different story modes? Is it one story campaign?
I think it's one story campaign. And you start out with the guy with the bionic arm.
Nero.
Yeah. And I don't think I played anyone else. If I'm being
oh,
honest.
now you didn't get to Dante?
No.
Dude, Dante's the OG, man.
Yeah,
He's
so
great.
I'm sure it's a great game. It has really positive reception. So I'm very excited to see what you think of it when the PlayStation 5 comes out.
Yeah, I think I might like force myself to play it because like Devil May Cry it's just a fun time. Super like kind of wacky vibe, cool stylish gameplay. So yeah, I think I'll probably check it out. Oddworld, Soulstorm.
Sam's excited about this one. It's super weird.
Is she an Oddworld fan?
I think
that's a
so.
surprise.
Yeah, so
I didn't know there were any Oddworld fans.
I think so. She used to be an Xbox player.
Okay, no, that's
younger.
Abe's or Munch's
Abe's
Odyssey.
Yeah, something like
Munch's Odyssey. I played that. It was a launch title for the OG Xbox.
Right. So I was watching the conference with her, and she's like, "Oh, I know this game," and so she got really excited. So it was super weird. She was like, "I thought this was only on Xbox." I'm like, "It's not on Xbox anymore." When the PlayStation's super successful. So
yeah, I think like on the PS3, there's Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, which seemed kind of cool too. Yeah, they're weird games.
Yeah, she's excited. So
okay,
we'll see. Maybe we'll get some of her hot takes when this game comes out.
Yeah, about Soulstorm. It's a cool name. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what she has to say. Friday Night at Freddy's Security Breach, that was announced.
Is it Friday Night at Freddy's or Five Nights at Freddy's?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm pretty sure it's Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You might play it on a Friday night, 5 night. That's a good catch. Yeah, my bad. This game is like a kind of like a weird cult following. I've never played it. I know they're kind of like creepy.
Right.
It's like the bear, right? Like the toy bear.
So when I watched the trailer for this one, it doesn't look like the other games.
I don't even know what the gameplay is.
So with the original Five Nights at Freddy's games, you're essentially like a security guard, and you have multiple screens, and you're trying to survive the entire night, right? So you're
trying to survive the Friday night,
right? The Friday night, and so you have multiple screens, and you can only switch off to different screens at different times. Every time you look at a screen, it drains battery. And so you're trying to preserve as much or electricity or battery as you're trying to survive the night. But it's a very static game. And so if you fail, a jump scare will happen. So
that's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, but with this trailer, it's interesting because the way the trailer was built, and I don't believe it was a cinematic, it looked like there was a physical space you could walk around in.
Okay.
If you agree with me, I don't know, like the way the trailer was built, it looks like the environments were very physical. Like it's not that you were in one room and you were looking at screens. It looked like the environment was interactable.
Yeah,
or at least you could walk around.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm interested in the game because it looks like a big departure from the original. So
cool. Yeah, and when I was watching the trailer, like before they actually announced the name, I was like, wow, this looks super eerie, super spooky, but like I was very interested. And then the
very
name
shiny floor. So like, look at this ray tracing.
Yeah, look at the ray tracing we can do. And then when the name popped up, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I don't think it's for me, but I know I know they definitely have a fan base.
Yeah, I'm not picking this up. It's a spoopy.
It's a spooper.
It's a spooper. Not touching it.
Okay, next up. Oh man, my definitely ideal launch title, Demon Souls. Wasn't announced. Gameplay.
Are you picking up Demon Souls and Miles Morales, or are you just picking up Demon Souls?
If Miles Morales is only $50, so like I actually might. But Demon Souls is like 100%. If I'm able to get one at launch, if I'm able to get a PS5 at launch,
which we'll talk about,
which we'll talk about for sure, because this is PS5 exclusive. It's not also launching on the PS4, so it's $70. I mean, if it was like 100, I would probably still get it because Souls game, Soulsborne's I'm huge fan of. Demon Souls, which was the first version of it, launched back on the PS3, is a PS3 exclusive. I love it. They had a hub world, and then like they shoot. I think there's like maybe like 5 or 6 different worlds, and then you progress more into those as the game goes on. But really great world building. Like each area had such a unique identity to it. Super creepy, eerie, but again, like the boss design's great. Huge sense of satisfaction. Demon Souls might be like Sekiro's my favorite of those types of games from the FromSoft games, but Demon Souls might be like my second favorite. It's cool.
Yeah,
very good vibes.
The game looks beautiful. When they started showing the gameplay, I was like, this. Like when I saw it, I'm like, this is a next gen game. That's what went through my head. I'm like, this is a next gen looking game. I don't know if they're feeding those devs or those artists at Bluepoint, but like the way they make remakes, because they also did the Shadow of the Colossus one.
Oh, that was them too.
Yeah, so they made Shadow of the Colossus one. So I don't know what their art team is eating, but they make good looking remakes.
Yeah. Keep eating them.
Right. So one thing that I did want to bring up with you, because I've never played Demon Souls, and I know we're already running long, but I am interested about this, is that what did you think about the gameplay? Because I thought the game looked beautiful, but when the gameplay was going, it looked slow to me. And maybe that's just because those type of games have started to become much faster.
They are, like Nioh and like Sekiro.
Yeah, so because I played some of those other ones.
Bloodborne also very fast paced.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I saw the game, I was like, this looks really slow for some reason. Is that normal, or is that what's going on there?
I would say in general, like the Dark Souls and Demon Souls, like those two franchises, they're on the slower end. This was the first one too, so
it's definitely very slow.
Yeah, it's the slowest one. I actually haven't played it since like its launch back on the PS3. And it was weird, like he's one-shotting everything. I don't know if that's just for the trailer's sake.
Right.
But then he also got like 2-shot by the boss, which is fantastic. And the signature "you died." But yeah, I think it's more like, you know, you got to be patient. You got to know when to parry or dodge. So I think I'll still have fun with it. Yeah, the fan base is watching this one pretty eagerly, though. It's quite a big, passionate fan base. So, but nonetheless, yeah, super excited. That's a day one for me, assuming I have the hardware to play it on. And then, you know, they, as if it wasn't enough already, as if they didn't win the console already, they announced God of War Ragnarok for 2021.
Next year, baby!
Dude,
I'm so excited.
That game is gonna be absolutely sick. And I don't think they announced like if it's cross-gen, if it'll be on PS4 and PS5. I honestly hope it's just PS5, just so they can make that baby look as great as it possibly can.
I swear, I will lose my mind because I know from a previous conversation, like I'm thinking that Horizon Forbidden West is also a 2021 game. I will lose my mind if Horizon Forbidden West,
you're never gonna leave
God
the apartment,
of War are on the same year.
That would be a
if
good year.
If they're out on the same year, I would lose it. It's essentially, it would be the same as the Switch launch, where they had Mario Odyssey,
Breath of the Wild,
and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as launch game. Like, man, what a banger. I can't believe it was 2021. I don't particularly believe it's going to launch at 2021 because I think it's actually going to get delayed because it always does. But if it does release in 2021, ooh, baby. I am excited.
Hey, and you know what? After this year, we could all use a good year.
Dude, a good 2021
yeah.
Would make up for all of this year. It would be great.
For sure. Yeah, that was really just a nail in the coffin. Like, I don't think anyone was really expecting the God of War sequel. Or like, I don't think anyone was expecting that. So that was awesome. And that's, that was the big shock, was Final Fantasy 16. Like, I would expect if they were to show that would be at the end, because that is such a game changer.
But they had so much.
But that's what they opened with.
Yeah.
And it was like everything on here, I was like, this is cool.
Right.
Like this, like even if I'm not gonna play it, like it's interesting.
Right.
Like I respect why this is being used in the showcase. And then they also announced the PlayStation Plus collection, right?
Which is, I think, their answer to Game Pass, right?
Yeah, and that's that's something we will talk about a little bit. But so this is if you have PlayStation Plus, which is kind of like the Xbox Gold or Xbox Live Gold, so to say, as long as you have PlayStation Plus, you'll get the following games at launch, at the PS5 launch, which is God of War, Bloodborne, Monster Hunter World, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, Mortal Kombat X, Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, Batman Arkham Knight, Last Guardian, Last of Us, Persona 5, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
That's a list.
It's quite a list. And so we were kind of talking about this a little bit, and so what are your thoughts on it, I guess? So this is it's at least inspired by Game Pass. So what are your thoughts?
I think if you are already in the PlayStation ecosystem, you may have played the majority of these games. So that's my first thought. Yeah. This play specifically is to entice Xbox players to move over to the PlayStation 5. Because time and again, I've heard multiple Xbox players that kind of, I don't want to say got shafted this generation, but they were very excited about the Xbox launch, and there just weren't too many games on that
that's
platform
that's
that they
been
were very excited on, right?
Yeah.
And so when I talk to some of my friends that have Xboxes, it's one of those things where they already invested in this console. They don't want to jump on another console. But it's also a shame because they always talk about it. It's a shame because there's definitely a lot of exclusive games that they definitely wanted to play on the PlayStation. They didn't have a chance.
And all their friends might be on Xbox as well. So right. I don't want to switch, but
yeah. So now with this collection, and granted, it's not as many games as Xbox with Game Pass, but it is the hits, right? Yeah. These are the best games. Well, there's some exclusions on here that I do want to point out, but they're essentially the best games that you can find on PlayStation, and you get them for free with PlayStation Plus immediately. So if you're a person that started out on the Xbox and didn't get a chance to play these games on the PlayStation 4, now is the time to jump ship to PlayStation 5 because you have so many games that you can play. Yes, Xbox says that they have over 100 games to play, right? But here, you're getting God of War, you're getting Monster Hunter, you're getting Bloodborne, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Last of Us, Persona 5.
Yeah, exactly. Persona 5.
Literally, there's so many games that are exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem that you definitely get a chance to play. There are some exclusions on here that I do want to point out, and I think that's more along the lines of business strategy. I see that Spider-Man is missing, and that's probably because they want you to buy the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, get the Ultimate.
Last of Us 2 is missing, and that's probably why, because it just came out on PlayStation 4. Royal is missing. Persona 5, the normal version is here, but Persona 5 Royal is missing. But that also did just come out this year. But a lot of the big hitters are here, and it's just a great answer to Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah. And so my thing was, like, it's good that they have this. Like, if they didn't have any sort of inspiration or answer to Game Pass, that would have been a huge negative for the not only the PS5 but for the showcase. Game Pass is still better than this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, undoubtedly, like the selection of games that's built up.
Let me rephrase that. I don't know. Yes, Game Pass is better than this in the future. Because with Game Pass, what's on there right now, I wouldn't say is on the level of God of War. Maybe I'm biased.
I think you are.
Right. But definitely God of War is one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
You're not getting your Bloodborns. You're not getting, these really good PlayStation exclusive games, these blockbuster games that I'm really thinking of. Right now, I would say the offering for PlayStation Plus is better. But in the future, Game Pass is significantly going to be better than PlayStation because I don't think PlayStation is going to allow launch games.
Correct.
On PS Collection. Because in Game Pass, the new Halo is going to be free. Not free, but if you pay for Game Pass Ultimate, you're getting those games that are just coming out day and date.
And so Jim Ryan, the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, he's actually said like it doesn't make sense for us financially to put like a new launch game like Demon's Souls on the PlayStation Plus collection, just because those are the amount of money that they're putting into it to produce it, just to put on there along with everything else. They would see a loss.
They go bankrupt.
Yeah, they go bankrupt. Whereas Microsoft, like the newest Gears of War, I think Gears of War 5, that was immediately available on Game Pass. I think Halo Infinite is too. I think they said like all the first party Microsoft games,
Forza, they're
all going to be on Game Pass, which is huge. Like that's kind of their business model though.
Well, it's because they don't have God of War.
Exactly.
They don't have Demon's Souls, right? I think
it's a compensation
with Game Pass. And I'm not trying to diss the games that Xbox is doing, right? With Game Pass, it's one of those things like, I'll try it. It's cool.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But with the PlayStation games, you're thinking, I want to play God of War. I want to play Demon's Souls. I want to play The Last of Us. It's not, I'll try it because it's free. It's, I want to play these games.
A different mindset for sure. Which when you have that mindset, like, I want to I'm going to drop now like $70 before tax on these games. Like you're hyping yourself up. You're like, I cannot wait to play this game, which is, I overall agree with Ryan's sentiment and like on that business model. It seems logical to me.
Well, did you think that the conference was good?
I thought the conference was supremely good. It was fantastic. The only negative thing was, okay, when can I pre-order this? Right? They said the launch date in mid-November, but then everyone's like, okay, when are we going to be able to pre-order it? Which brings us to the next topic conversation.
Yeah. I did have a weird thought about it because I was super surprised with the conference because it was super vague. I don't know if you noticed that.
In what way?
So obviously they announced the launch day and they announced how much it was.
Okay.
I think, that was decided months and months ago. I'm pretty sure. Maybe with the exception of the price.
Yeah.
Because they're probably waiting on Xbox to do it. But the launch date, I think they already knew that was going to be when they wanted to hit, right before Thanksgiving, right before the holiday season where people want to spend money on a new console.
Yeah.
What I was thinking was vague is that I don't know why Miles Morales they didn't have a date for that. They didn't have a date because it said holiday 2020, which is super weird to me. We already knew Miles Morales was launching, but Demon's Souls also said holiday 2020, which
so
we
it
know
wasn't like
now
the most
is a launch day.
Information.
Yeah, so we know now it's a launch day. So it was super weird during the conference that everything was super vague of what games are coming out for launch, right? Even though minutes or seconds later after the conference, Jeff Keighley, of all people, which is a great person in the industry, but Jeff Keighley is the one telling people that Demon's Souls is a launch game.
Yeah. Which
is weird because you just had a conference where you could have told everyone that Demon's Souls was a launch game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, especially because you're showing these off, so you want to make like this is a launch game. Like there's incentive to pre-order this because you can play this at launch.
So it's a good marketing beat. So it's a big. I don't understand why the conference was built that way. Like I said, it seemed really vague. Like the messaging was very confused, and it goes to our next topic, which is the pre-orders, which is so
So this
fumbled. It was so screwed. I was so mad.
It was seriously such a roller coaster of emotions here. So there's 4 like in terms of like the timeline of the pre-order. There's 4 big events here, and here's how they played out. So as Ralph said, Jeff Keighley, who'd be big industry name, he tweeted out stating that, hey, per Sony, pre-orders will begin tomorrow. And then after that, Sony confirmed his tweet, like, yeah, Jeff is right. We did say this. So that's like, why didn't it come from you guys first?
Why wasn't it at the conference?
Why wasn't it at the conference?
Right.
Or I mean, even if they were the first ones to tweet it afterwards, like fine, whatever, like minutes after.
Why is it coming from Jeff Keighley?
And then, okay, it gets even weirder and chaotic. So Walmart, one of the bigger retailers for the PlayStation 5, They literally, this is verbatim what they tweeted. Make you wait to get the new PlayStation 5? Nah, that's not like us. Go on, pre-order it now, right? It was supposed to be tomorrow at some time,
right,
which is super vague on its own. Then Walmart says, no, screw it. We have it open right now. And then other retailers like Amazon, Best Buy, Target, they're like, sure.
They're like, well, if Walmart's doing it, I guess we're opening pre-orders too.
Right, we want site traffic too. We want your money. So then they did it. And it was just so much miscommunication. It's just a clown fiesta, right? Complete utter clown fiesta. And then Microsoft obviously is knowing this. They're like rubbing their hands together like, oh, this is going to be great. So they tweet then. It's super minimalistic tweet. Very just short. It says pre-order 9/22, right? September 22nd. Worldwide launch on November 10th. Hype over 9,000, right? The Dragon Ball Z meme. And they said, don't worry, we'll let you know the exact time pre-orders start for you soon. And I think they did actually announce it. Yeah.
Do you have that or no?
I want to say in the next couple days. I think it's this week. I don't remember the exact day though. But yeah, so and that just goes to show you like all you need is that short, that brief of a tweet, right? To calm everyone's nerves, to get the message across, and Sony could not handle that. Right. They couldn't do it.
I think, like I said, I would love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings.
Totally.
And I think, to be honest, Sony was scrambling to get this conference out. Right. So I think
it's fair.
They had the content. They knew what they were going to put in there because obviously that takes time. They knew that they were going to put Final Fantasy, they were going to put all of these games that are being showcased at the conference, right? But the meat and potatoes of the conference, the information that people really wanted to know, was 11th hour kind of discussions. How much are we going to price it? When is the pre-orders going to open? What time is it going to open? And so I think when these conversations were happening, something got lost in the fold.
Yeah, and
it was a hot mess.
The absence of information or, the mass miscommunication on Sony's part isn't just related to the pre-orders. It's been kind of an ongoing theme with the PlayStation 5. Like, what are we doing for backwards compatibility? Okay, the top 100 PS4 games. What the heck does that mean? That information hasn't been updated. And they're like, okay, what about price? When's that going to come out? And then for pre-orders, they didn't even send out the information of, hey, if you fill out this quick survey, you'll have a chance to pre-order it. I never heard about that from Sony. I heard about it from like IGN or GameSpot. Right. So it's like, why am I getting this information from Jeff Keighley or like IGN and not from Sony when it comes to like regarding the launch of their next system?
Right.
That's huge. So it seems weird. And then there was all this, the nonsense with the pre-order. You were able to get your hands on one, which is fantastic. I have not been able to. And honestly, like, again, we're kind of, we lean Sony, right? Big Sony fan, but like, I was super disheartened by Sony after all this. Just because like I want a pre-order system. Like I want to give you my money and like invest more into this ecosystem, but because of this miscommunication and lack of information, I can't. Right. And then you send out the invitation to pre-order from your site to random people.
To random people.
I like, who knows what the criteria is? Like, I wasn't selected. Like, why am I not good enough to pre-order from you? So it actually,
you're like, not worthy.
I know, like, this is like a little dramatic, but like, I felt like betrayed by Sony. I'm like, crap, should I just like get the Xbox Series X at launch?
But you're not, are you?
I like actually had like a series like back and forth for like 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't know if I should like switch sides. Like, I feel cheated right now. What's your take on the fumble?
Here is my play-by-play on what happened. So after the conference, they're like, hey, pre-orders are going tomorrow. I'm like, great. I'm an adult. I have other shit that I need to do. Yeah. I'm not even going to think about this. I wake up super early for work anyway. So I wake up at 6.
And you texted me like 7 a.m. on the
So I wake up around 6 to start work at 7. So I have a very early start for my work day. And so I was thinking, I don't need to worry about this. I will find out when pre-orders will happen tomorrow, and I will make sure that I will be there for pre-orders. Wake up the next morning.
Yep.
I'm so angry because I wasn't paying attention to anything else. I just wanted to have a cool, chill, I want to say like it was Thursday or Wednesday night.
Yeah.
For the conference. And lo and behold, everyone said pre-orders happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And my gut just dropped.
Like, we believed Sony when they said, like, it'll be tomorrow, and, like, we lost because of it.
Right. So I start scrambling to find all of the retailers. Everyone sold out by that point.
Yeah.
And it's not, and here's the crazy thing too. Whenever those pre-orders got announced, they sold out in 2 minutes. So it would have been hard to get it if you were even there on time. And so it's just super frustrating because Alex, all these other people want these PlayStation 5s, right? But now they're on eBay for $1,000.
Yeah, that's not even exaggeration. It's nuts.
So it's just super frustrating because I'm trying to listen to Sony, which is who I should be listening to for my information. And I wasn't able to utilize that information correctly, and now I'm screwed. So lucky for me, I was able to find a pre-order for Walmart randomly because of some good friends at work, and I was able to pick one up. But I texted Alex that morning and said, hey, pre-orders went out last night and they're all sold out. Yeah, and so that kind of sucks.
It's a huge scramble, but I'm not upset at Sony anymore, because they've realized like how much of a clown fiesta the situation has been. And, sure, if there's hiccups here and there, whatever, like this is like a big event. So it may, there's going to be challenges regardless. So they sent in the big guns again. Jim Ryan, CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, made a couple statements, obviously an apology about the whole thing. Like, hey, this 100% should have been handled better. Sorry about that. And that is good. Like, I love that because, again, the miscommunication, the lack of information has been a theme in this whole timeline for the PS5. So now it seems like they're really trying to make it better, saying we're actually going to have more PS5s than we did PS4 at launch. Okay, that's good. Retailers are going to continue throughout the rest of the year to pump out these systems available for pre-order and just purchase after it launches. So again, like they understand the shortage, the scramble for pre-order, and they're going to address that. It's not like if you didn't get one now, you're just not going to be able to get one. And they have made a concrete statement stating for backwards compatibility, saying PS5 will be 99% backwards compatible with the PS4.
A+.
Ryan expects the PS4 community, so, games being cross-gen, to be active for 3 to 4 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you weren't going to pre-order a PS5, maybe it's been a hard year for everyone, maybe you just don't have the financial means, you're not going to be left out, which is really cool. Obviously, there's a launch game like Demon's Souls, which is only going to be on the PS5, so you'd miss out on that.
But it's technically an old game. You can play the old version.
Yeah, that's totally true. So that's a really nice compromise.
Yeah.
Make games just for the PS5, but also there's a lot of titles that are going to be available for both.
So I have a question for you, a follow-up question, because you're kind of in this boat, right? Do you think people are going to jump ship to Xbox if they can't get a PlayStation 5 at launch? That's a good question. And the thing is, like the $300, the Series S is like a good, okay, well, I can at least play that. But I don't think they will, just because the launch games for the Series X and Series S are not really there. But yeah, Game Pass, sure. Right. So, for instance, you kind of brought it up a little bit. Let's say, God forbid, right? you can't get a PlayStation 5 at all at launch. Would you get an Xbox One X? Xbox One X. Xbox One's.
Xbox Series S.
Xbox Series S.
I don't think so, because a lot of the stuff on Game Pass is like multi-plat, also available on the PS4. There's not really any exclusives at Microsoft exclusives that I'm seriously itching for. I think I want to play Fable. I don't know. I don't think there's a launch window for that. So Xbox hasn't proven to you, because like I said, right, with the console, it's more along the lines of a promise for the future. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So Xbox hasn't proven to you that there are going to be games that you're going to want to play on that console exclusively. Yeah, not at least before I get a PS5, right? And now, like, I'm okay with Sony now. Like, they've addressed their shortcoming. Like, that's a huge thing for me. Like, you messed up bad, own up to it, and, like, what are you going to do now, right? So they did, and they made a statement about console availability in the holiday season. So, like, I'm okay with that. You know, they released a way more concrete statement about their backwards compatibility, which has been very nebulous, broad statement.
Instead of top 100 games, it's
right now it's 99%.
That's
and
awesome.
The 1% maybe there's like an indie or two that isn't compatible, at least at launch. So yeah, they made it up. It stinks I wasn't able to pre-order one with you, not on the other side of the finish line, but it's okay. I'll get one.
No, yeah, I'll definitely try and look out for you.
Thanks, boss.
For that, because I need you to get one.
I need it. Yeah, SpongeBob memes
for sure. But should we have a moment of silence for everyone who hasn't gotten a PlayStation 5 yet?
Moment of silence.
A moment of silence for everyone who hasn't been able to pre-order a PlayStation 5.
AKA me. And moving on. Okay, so there were more interesting news on the Nintendo side of things. There was a mini direct,
like a partner showcase.
Yeah, partner showcase. That's right. 2 Monster Hunter games were announced. Monster Hunter Rise, which is launching in March next year, March 26th, and also Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is just the summer of next year. I know, like, you're probably bigger into that series than me. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I only started getting into Monster Hunter because of Monster Hunter World. So,
okay.
So I didn't play any of the other games. But I am very excited for Monster Hunter Rise. I'm curious to see why they made that game. And the reason I say that is Monster Hunter just going to have 2 SKUs, right? Is there going to be the really hardcore, great looking graphics? And not to say that this had bad graphics, but 4K, 60 FPS,
right?
Like ray tracing game for your PlayStation 5s and your Xbox, and they're gonna make a different game from a different team just exclusively for the Switch. And so that's what was interesting to me, that it's a completely different game, because there's already another Monster Hunter game
on the Switch.
Not on the Switch, just a different Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, hey, people on Switch, like Monster Hunter World, it had
it's
great
not going to run on your Switch.
It's not going to, but like, here's this, which seems it seems like very similar to that.
Yeah. And then my other thought is Monster Hunter Stories. I didn't get to play the first Monster Hunter Stories because...
What console is it on?
So Monster Hunter Stories is a DS game.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't know if you saw in the news, they're discontinuing the DS now.
The 3DS, yeah, rip. Yeah.
So all of the DS line of systems is going to be discontinued. So Monster Hunter Stories 2 is going onto the Switch. So it kind of relates back to why there's a second SKU. I believe these third-party publishers are essentially treating the Switch as if it was the DS.
Yeah.
Right? So because Monster Hunter Stories...
It's the only mobile...
Right. Yeah, because Monster Hunter Stories 2... is a successor to a DS game, and I believe Monster Hunter Rise, in theory, should be a successor to a Monster Hunter game that's on the DS, your Ultimates or whatever, or Alliance or things like that.
They were on the Wii, I remember.
Monster Hunter Tri, it's really interesting that essentially the Nintendo Switch has become the DS.
Yeah, I mean, relative to, like the Xbox Series X and the PS5, like it is, which is laughable, but
it's a good system, and I love it.
It is. The Switch is good.
I am probably not going to play Monster Hunter Rise. I might check out Monster Hunter Stories because it's a monster collector.
Yeah, it's more like a JRPG, more chill. I know it kind of seems like this is like a Pokemon business strategy. Like, you have the mainline games, and you have like the mystery dungeon, right? Like Pokemon Snap. You have like these more fun, lighthearted side stories. So, maybe we could play it. I don't know.
And I like the art style, so.
Yeah. I think like out of those two, I'm more inclined to pick up Stories too. Not sure if I will, because again, summer 2021 might be
a busy time.
A busy time for gaming. But yeah, it's cool that they want to make more of the Monster Hunter series games on the Switch, because I know like in Japan, huge following for that game. Right. Which is probably their target audience for this, but I know like in the West, people probably pick it up too. Cool. All right, and We also had some decent deals this last week, ending early this week. So on the Xbox One, Evil Within 2 is on Amazon for $6.67. It's a physical edition. I had never really played these games. I've seen a lot of footage though. It's more like thriller, kind of supernatural vibe. It's a little bit spoopy, right? But it's seems cool if that's up your alley, kind of like the Silent Hill kind of vibe. DBZ Kakarot on sale at GameStop for $23.51 with code CAG16.
Is that a good deal? I know you bought that at launch, right?
I bought it at $40 actually.
Oh, okay. Did that come out this year?
It came out this year. I want to say in like February. Oh, okay. I platinumed it because, dude, DBZ, it's huge, great place in my heart. I know it's not like the best show, but like nostalgia for sure. Okay. And they treat that so well. It's like the awesome battles like Cell versus Teen Gohan, even though Teen Gohan's only 12. Like the cutscene is fantastic. Like they do it justice and then some. Like I have it saved on my PS4 so we can watch it sometime. Okay. Yeah, it's one of my favorite DBZ games, and got the plat. So I think at that price I would recommend it. PS4, they have their awesome PSN deals. There was the VR one we mentioned last week that's still going on, I believe. They also have a double discounts one. A note for that is Red Dead Redemption 2 for $26.39. Yeah, good one. Definitely a good one. And it'll be playable on the PS5. So I think this is a good one to play on the PS5 because I know it had some frame rate issues. Okay. So I would expect that to be better on the PS5. Do we know
if these PS4 games are getting optimized for the PS5? Obviously, it's a much stronger hardware on the PS5, but is there confirmation that PlayStation 4 games are going to be much better on PS5? I know obviously with the load screens, I believe those are going to be better because of the SSD. But I don't know.
So my thought is, in a lot of these games, you have the option, like, do you want better frame rate or do you want this to like be pushed to the max? But there might be like some input delay. My thought is like you can run it on best performance and it would run fine as if it was on best performance or best frame rate. So that's kind of my thought. I'm not sure if there's gonna be a day one patch for a lot of these. Some of them I could see though.
Speaking of VR, I am very curious because I don't know if this is confirmed yet. I'm really hoping PlayStation VR is supported for PS5.
Yeah, that's right. They did. That was the one thing I thought was missed in the showcase was VR information.
Because I have a lot of VR games, and I definitely would love to play them on PlayStation VR. And if they're even better on PlayStation 5, I'd be very happy. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I guess speaking of VR, the Oculus Quest 2 is available for pre-order. That's pretty cool.
Have you tried it?
I have tried the Quest.
It's magic. It's super cool.
It's very cool. Jump Force is also the weekly deal for PlayStation Network. It's $15.
Is it worth the $15, Alex? That's the question, right?
It's free on Game Pass. I know that. So if you don't, I don't know.
Oh, it's free on Game Pass?
It's free on Game Pass. I might
check it out.
Yeah, it's fun for 10 minutes and then you're like, whatever. They're continuing to support it. They have a season pass too. If it's up your alley, it's up your alley. Nintendo Switch deals. There's a Warner Bros. Game sale with a lot of the Lego games. There's Lego Harry Potter collection for $12.49. Also Scribblenauts Mega Pack for $9.99. Fun games. I would say if you have kids, those would be hits for them in general. Steam. There's a THQ Nordic sale. They did the Darksiders games most notably, I think. They have a Blades and Whip franchise pack, which is the first 3 games for $22.90. And there's also SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated for $23.99.
That game just came out too.
Yeah, recently. It's a good game. Well, okay.
It's positively received by the fan base, for sure.
Yeah, it's SpongeBob. It's a platformer. Good memories with that game. I don't know how well it's aged, but yeah, those are some of the good deals for the week.
I would like to note that remaster looks better than Sands of Time remake.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's completely accurate too. So on that note, that is all we have for episode 3. It was a lot to talk about in the industry. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We had a lot of fun hanging out with each other, and we hope you did too. If you have any discussion topics or questions for us, send it over on professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com or on our Instagram or Twitter @professionallycasualgamers. See you next week. Stay safe, and as always, keep it casual.